Yo, what's going on, guys? Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Let's get into the JASMY chart right off the hop, guys. All right, so as always, guys, I will get to the chat after I get through the news, okay? So stick around. I'll get to your questions and your comments um, as soon as I'm done through the news and stuff. But I wanted to show you guys some on this daily time frame for JASMY, and I want to know in the chat, guys. Do you see what I see on this daily chart? Do you see what I see? I'm going to go over to the Bitcoin chart in a moment, but I want to show you something on here. There's a pattern that is now developed on here that I just kind of noticed this morning, and I'm going to show it to you here. Are you ready? What does that look like to you guys? That's one hell of a big inverse head and shoulders on the daily time frame for JASMY. That's massive. That is a massive inverse head and shoulders, guys, that just finished forming today, right? So are we about to see this lift off? And guys, I've been showing you on multiple other charts. We have inverse head and shoulders patterns, cup and handle patterns, descending channel patterns, right? Falling wedge patterns. We have bullish patterns on hundreds of altcoins that we've been looking at over the last couple of weeks that are all just coming to completion here, right? So this is pretty crazy. This is pretty crazy, guys. Inverse head and shoulders playing out here. How long is it going to take before this spikes to the upside? We'll find out. We'll find out, but that looks juicy, guys. That looks juicy to me. All right, let's go over to the Bitcoin chart now. What do we got? So over on Bitcoin, what are we doing? We came down a little bit here, but we haven't even retested this trend line as support yet. And like I told you guys, we could do one of two things, really. We could retest this and then go up, or we could come all the way back down here, guys, to 64, 65K to put in a higher low, right? So we could do one of those two things. Which one? Well, I mean, we'll obviously have to wait and see, right? There's no way of knowing. But I would prefer us to just bounce and keep going, because this bounce here would still be putting in a higher low if we do that and then continue on. But if we come down here, we set that higher low, and then we take off, I would take that opportunity to buy some more altcoins, right? So anyway, we just got to stay on top of it, guys. We got to stay on top of it. I would like us to stay outside of this pattern that we've been in, right? We broke out to the upside finally. As you can see, we retested it multiple times, never broke through. We have officially broken out and closed above multiple candles. So I would like to see us continue up to the all-time high here. That's what I'm looking for right now. And what is this? I don't know. So that's kind of what I'm watching. All right, we got quite a few videos to get through this morning, guys. A lot of information out there today. So let's get into it. First one by Rect Capital, as usual. 3 reasons why you should not be buying Bitcoin right now. Check this out.
Bitcoin has had a phenomenal run in recent weeks, but it's really important to understand some of the reasons why it's not really a good time to be buying Bitcoin at these highs. If we're focusing on this structure right over here, this is a black downtrending channel. And whenever we see price drop into the orange region, those are bargain buying opportunities. Whenever we see price upside wick into the top of the channel and beyond it, those tend to be FOMO wicks. So notice how we're getting progressively deeper and deeper and deeper rejections from the channel top. And this is the very first chance that Bitcoin has to prove to us that this downtrending channel top is weakening as a point of rejection. Buying right now is buying at the top of the channel. And the second reason for not buying right now is to be buying when pullbacks are occurring. The third reason would be to watch out for confirmation. We need to weekly close beyond this downtrend to enable a move to revisit the range high of 71,500. Bitcoin has had a
Which
phenomenal
we have
run.
done, guys. We've closed outside of there, just like you said. So now we're trying to get to that 71K range. That's what we're waiting for. That's what we're holding up for. So, all right, what else do we got? Just in, Bitcoin's ETF have accumulated flows. Cumulative flows are now over $20 billion, the fastest growing ETF in history. And yet there's still people asking, should I be buying this? Crazy, man. It's crazy to me, right? At this point, how do you not see the writing on the wall? Liberty Lockpad explains how power opting out with Bitcoin is how experts in the highest levels of academia may be wrong with it. Oh, check it out.
Unfortunately, I genuinely don't think that people are going to demand the change that's necessary until the inflationary pressures, which are already significant, get far, far worse.
Yeah. When you say opt out, you mean going into putting your purchasing power in gold or
Yeah,
Bitcoin and
exactly.
taking it out of the system?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree. And that the beauty of that is like you can not only protect yourself, but it's also an act that takes energy out of that machine.
True.
You're like voting against the printing of money and the dropping of bombs, for instance, just by saying, you know what, you can do that, but you're not going to do that to my purchasing power, right? You're not going to dilute me to bomb other people. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, it's a great act of protest.
Yeah, boycotting, basically boycotting the state in a way. But man, how do we? Like, that is one of the most effective things we can do. Probably the most effective thing we can do, next to just
On an individual
conversation and
level,
education. Yet so few people understand that. It's not that complicated. I mean, we just said it in 2 sentences. So like, what's the problem? Was it just that money and finance is just this abstract domain that people don't have their heads around? Like, how do we get people to see the economic picture for what it is?
Yeah, look, I mean, let's just be honest. Most people aren't libertarians. Most people are not going to read Austrian economics. You know, they're not going to go down, this road. And in their defense, they've spent their entire childhood being told that we're wrong, that Keynesianism is actually proper and good, and if not, then modern monetary theory is the is the pathway forward. So I don't think you can reach a lot of these people, and like I've just kind of accepted that at this point. Like I think that in fact I'm very confident that they're wrong. And I know that we will all suffer as a consequence of their wrongheadedness. However, you have so many people that are telling them that they're right and that we're idiots that it's like, all right, what else can I do? You know, like I can try and convince them, but for the most part, it's like there's nobody home.
Dude, that one's such a pernicious problem because you go back to public schooling, actually.
Exactly.
Like, people have been actually conditioned to believe that this is the truth of finance economics. And then when you like, this is one of the most bitter parts of the Bitcoin orange pill. You pull back the veil on Keynesian economics and you're like, what? This is all pseudoscientific bullshit to justify the money printing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet it's taught in all universities.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And so everyone's plugged into this matrix, basically, unless, there's like when I say a handful, literally a handful, I think less than 5 universities in the world that are seriously teaching Austrian economics. Now, obviously the game has changed with the internet and all of that, but
but see, here's the thing. When it comes to like high level educational topics, which despite the fact that finance is not really looked at in that way, it ought to be. I mean, because it's one of the most important things. But when you're going to these schools, these colleges, these universities, very high level universities to learn about economics, like you're going to come away totally convinced that you have to be being told the right thing. Yeah. Like if you go to NYU or whatever, and like you're telling me that the people at the highest levels of American academia are wrong, like I'm just trying to like steel man the opposition here. Like for a young person who knows no better,
right? Of course,
and they go to this high end college and they pay $250,000 to go there, and then we come out of here and we're just like, Everything you
Yeah.
think is wrong, and they're like, "Fuck you."
Yeah.
So
Dude
I understand the
dude with a
psychology.
camera and a book. Or like, oh yeah, you're the one that's right
Yeah.
compared to these.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can commend that as well, but I do think that whole, what do we call this, like worshiping of the expert or something, that
Yeah.
was really challenged during COVID.
It should have been.
Yeah.
And that's the truth of it, guys, is that our education system, whether you're in the States or Canada, it's designed to help you, to make you buy into this fiat system, right? They're absolutely right. Got to opt out, man. Opt out for crypto, right? We're going to jump over to an article quick before the next video. All right, so 94% of Asian private wealth is investing or considering crypto. A new report from Aspen Digital estimates that 76% of private wealth in Asia has already dabbled in digital assets, with an additional 18% planning future investments. Interest in digital assets with Asia's private wealth sector has grown since the Hong Kong-based wealth management platform conducted its survey in 2022. At the time, only 58% of respondents had ventured into the digital asset space. The report surveyed 80 family offices, and high net worth individuals across Asia, most of whom managed assets between $10 million and $500 million. Among respondents already invested in crypto, 70% have allocated less than 5% of their portfolios to digital assets, though some have increased their allocation to over 10% in 2024. Asian private wealth appears increasingly drawn to the profit opportunities presented by blockchain technology applications. 2/3 of respondents expressed interest in decentralized finance, while 61% showed interest in artificial intelligence and decentralized physical infrastructure networks, or DePIN. Aspen Digital also noted that respondents are generally optimistic about Bitcoin's outlook for the remainder of 2024, with 31% predicting a price of $100,000 by end of year. The approval of spot Bitcoin exchange-traded funds has boosted digital asset appetite among Asian investors, with 53% of respondents gaining exposure through funds or ETFs. This trend aligns with global developments as highlighted in the recent Global Crypto Hedge Fund report by AIMA and PwC. Their survey of nearly 100 hedge funds across 6 regions managing a combined $124.5 billion reported a rise in crypto exposure from 29% in 2023 to 47% in 2024, driven by regulatory clarity and a launch of a crypto ETF in the United States and Asia. Spot Bitcoin ETFs trading in the US as of January 2024, while spot Bitcoin and Ethereum and ETH ETFs launched in Hong Kong in April. So guys, the reason that this is relevant to us as a JASMY community is maybe one of you guys, as they've grown interest in crypto ETFs, right? The wealthiest of the Asian countries. What at the top of your head, guys, what is the only legally regulated digital asset in Japan? That would be JASMY. JASMY, yes. So is it feasible, and Jesse and I have talked about this multiple times, that we could see around the corner a JASMY spot ETF in Japan? And would that not cause a lot more institutional investor interest out in the Asian markets? Probably yes. So very, very bullish potential there, guys. See how I connected those dots? You like that, eh? You'll love to see it. All right, what else do we got? Pompliano this morning on Squawk Box. Check it out.
Andreessen Horowitz released its annual State of Crypto report this week, and the firm put the number of worldwide cryptocurrency owners at 617 million, a new high, driven in part by the mass adoption of stablecoin. Join us now with more on crypto. Anthony Pompliano, founder CEO of Professional Capital Management. It's election season. We've been watching Bitcoin. Druckenmiller said that perhaps the recent move is an indication that some players think that that Trump may have moved ahead. He's moved ahead on a lot of the betting sites. Do you think that's why? I mean, it's back to 67, which is not anywhere near the high, but it is well above where it was 3 weeks ago. It was threatening to go under 59,000 again. So it's been moving up for the past week or so.
I think the market conditions are definitely playing in favor of store value assets. Gold up 30% this year. Bitcoin's up 60%. So Bitcoin is just more sensitive and kind of more volatile than gold.
You know, I asked you a specific question about whether it was moving up on Trump's prospect. Did you? I think this is like last night. Did you hear Mike? What the actual question was? Do you think it's related? Because Andrew points out that Vice President Harris has been sort of courting some of the crypto world. So then
I don't think it matters who the president's going to be. Right, Bitcoin.
So even the last week has nothing to do with it.
I think that it is much more likely that about 6 months after the halving, you get the pricing in of the supply shock. You also have central banks around the world that are cutting interest rates. You have M2 money supply that's now expanding, and then you also have a very bullish investor base. Right, if you go and you look at kind of how over-levered people are and how excited they are about stocks moving up, Bitcoin moving up, etc. Now, if you go back and look at 2020, this is right about the time where we went from call it $10,000 for 6 months. We just went straight up from 10,000 to 64,000 in March of 2021. And so I'm not a huge believer in just like, hey, it's the month of October, everything's got to go up, because usually September is down, but it was a up month. And so we kind of invalidated that thought process. But I do believe that there is something about around 6 months after the halving, you start to work in that supply change, you get a monetary regime change. And I do think Bitcoin is going to continue to run through the end of the year.
Okay. Because the reasons you gave right at the top were you could go back 3 months when you're on, 6 months when you're on, 9 months, and they were the same thing that you've always said, the same selling points for why Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is the simplest story in finance, but it is the hardest story for traditional financial market players to understand because it requires them to not overthink it. And I think that's a really, kind of important point, which is Bitcoin is a finite asset. If they increase the money supply, they drop interest rates, and people around the world realize that they need a store of value, they're going to buy Bitcoin. Now, what's really interesting is Charlie Bolillo from Creative Planning put out this chart that over the last 30 years, the US dollar has lost 50% of its purchasing power. In one generation, people lost 50% of their purchasing power. They're going to look for other assets. Now, what I do think is important is that Bitcoin is not a threat to the US dollar. What we're seeing and what the Andreessen report pointed out is that actually what people are doing is they're using Bitcoin as a savings account. They're buying Bitcoin and they're holding it. They don't want to spend the Bitcoin, but they're starting to use these stable coins. And so stable coins now have hundreds of millions of users. And so just like in the traditional world where you have a savings account and you have a checking account, you never touch your savings account. That's what people are doing with their Bitcoin. It's the digital savings account. And then the stable coins are now your checking account to pay for your everyday expenses, goods and services, et cetera. And I think that by reducing the friction of switching between currencies, because now everything is digital, what you're now introducing is a multi-currency world, which historically hasn't been possible because to move from dollars to any other currency was incredibly expensive and difficult. Now we have a savings account in Bitcoin. Stablecoins are what you're going to pay for. And those two things are going to continue to ride. And stablecoins will be a huge bull market for the US dollar.
Okay. So the great masses of the unbanked, are you seeing Bitcoin become, I mean, if you have a phone, you can have a bank anywhere in the world. Is that, in the past, you've said, that's like fairy dust. Remember, you sprinkle a little fairy dust. You've been in foreign countries and you ask the guys, you got it, and they're like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you think, can you make the case that's actually happening?
I'll give you a couple
or is it just fairy dust?
Let me give you a couple of numbers. So there's two reports that recently came out. One, Nick Carter at Castle Island, they did a huge study with Brevin Howard, Visa, et cetera. And then there's a new guy who's the head of economics at Tether. They both put out a bunch of data. And so the data points were Tether claims that they have 330 million people on chain, not in centralized exchanges, on chain with Tether in those wallets. If you add in centralized exchanges, tens of millions more. So let's call it 400 plus million people just with Tether. Then Nick Carter, Visa, Brevin Howard went and they looked and they said 2 out of every 3 emerging market crypto users have converted stablecoins and their fiat currencies. So they're going back and forth between these assets. And then they also said that 40% of these emerging market crypto users have bought a good or service with stablecoins. Now, again, that is just crypto market emerging market users. So what is the percentage? That's a huge question. So if it's only 10% of a nation, you go and you talk to people on the ground, only 1 out of 10 people are going to say, hey, I've got the stablecoin. But it is a very high penetration of usage for the stablecoins for the people who have them.
I mean, 'cause you can paint this unbelievable picture, Andrew, that there's people in high inflation countries that work their ass off. And then, a week later, whatever they work for is worth, 10% less in a week. And if you were to go into Bitcoin, there's a place where but I don't know if it's really happening.
I think there's a huge story right now. We'll see if it happens. Stripe is reportedly looking at acquiring one of these stablecoin businesses. And so when you start to look at a digital payment provider saying, hey, look, let's go and adopt these stablecoins. Again, stablecoins are for payments. Bitcoin is for savings, which historically Bitcoiners have said, you're going to spend your Bitcoin. But right now it is dumb to spend your Bitcoin in America. You get
100%, guys. I don't think an election matters either in the grand scheme of things. I just don't. I don't think anything's stopping this train, in my opinion. But I kind of agree with Pompliano there, guys. What do we got? We got some more stuff. We got a couple more videos, but first, let's get into some more news. European Central Bank has cut interest rates by 25 basis points again. Globally, guys, we are seeing rate cuts getting slashed. What else do we got? We got more and more and more videos to go through. Imagine being this guy. Look at this guy. Imagine being this guy. Look at this. In 2011, July 15th, 2011, this guy tweeted out, well, Bitcoin is stabilized at almost exactly $14 a coin. I'm tired of waiting for a jump. So I'm taking the loss and getting my cash back. Can you imagine what this guy must be feeling right now? Oh my God. But this, guys, listen, we talk about this stuff over on the Patreon, right? We do group video calls where we all discuss things. And one of the things that we do is we try to help people avoid pitfalls, right? And make mistakes that hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people have made before them in cycles before them, right? And this is a very, very, very common mistake in crypto, regardless of what crypto you're actually in. It doesn't even have to be Bitcoin. It could be JASMY. It could be anything. I see on a daily basis, people have this exact attitude. I'm tired of waiting for a jump, so I'm taking the loss and getting my cash back. How many times have you heard or seen someone type that garbage out because their emotions and their lack of patience gets the best of them? How many times have you seen that? I see it on a daily basis, and I try to help hedge people against having this kind of attitude. Because look what happened to this guy. Can you imagine being this guy? If he's even still with us after making this kind of a monumental mistake in his life financially? You know what I'm saying, guys? Don't be that guy. Don't let emotions get the best of you, right? That is a surefire way to lose. Okay, now real quick, we're going to touch on this SEC XRP case. So the SEC has apparently missed their deadline to file their Form C or whatever it is for their appeal process. And everyone's saying, so it says in the documents that if they fail to file this form, their claim gets dismissed, their appeal gets dismissed, okay? In saying that, though, apparently the SEC gets special treatment and they don't have to file documents on time. They can just do it whenever they want and say, oh, sorry, we didn't file it on time. But if Ripple missed a deadline, the case would probably be dismissed. You know what I mean? So Eleanor Tourette tweets out, she says she heard back from the SEC this morning. Despite the fact that they missed the deadline to file their Form C, the appeal process is proceeding normally, and the documents will be filed soon. So Brad Garlinghouse replied, proceeding normally for an agency that makes up their own rules as they go. Shots fired. I love it. I love it. All right, what else do we got? We got a little bit more. We're going to piggyback off of that with a little bit more with Brad Garlinghouse here. Sat down with Tony Edwards on Thinking Crypto.
Let's talk XRP ETFs, because I think we were all surprised. Multiple XRP ETF filings, Bitwise, I believe Canary Funds. What is your take on the market demand for this product?
Well, I was surprised by timing, but not surprised by the outcome. You know, I think when the Bitcoin ETF came out in January, you know, I said very publicly, like, it's just a matter of time that you'll see ETH ETFs, you'll see Solana ETFs, you'll see XRP ETFs. And I think that will continue to happen. In fact, I think it was just yesterday, the Grayscale ETF filing is a basket, which is also, here's just to pat myself on the back. I said there'd be baskets.
Right.
And I mean, to me, it's just because that's what investors want.
Let's talk XRP.
So there's now officially 3 spot XRP ETF applications currently waiting to be approved or denied. So that'll be very, very interesting to see what happens. XRP Army. Michael Saylor.
You buy Bitcoin, you hold it for more than 4 years, Joe. That's my advice to everybody.
For anyone, buy it and hold it for more than 4 years. And then you think eventually it takes how much, let's say it is digital gold, what percentage of gold's market cap does it finally?
You know, Bitcoin's 0.1% of the capital in the world right now. I think it's going to go to 7% of the capital.
7%.
My long-term forecast is it's going to go to 13 million over 21 years.
13 million.
13 million, but what is it 5 years from now? In your 4-year calculus?
You know, it's been growing 44% a year with about a 40 to 50 vol. I would think it'll move on at 40%, then click down to 35, then 30, then 25. And at some point it'll be the S&P return plus 8%, and it'll be the S&P vol plus 8%, because it's always going to be a more global, open, free capital market. Bitcoin's an expression in this view that you want to invest in an asset without counterparty risk, which means you don't want to be counterparty to a country, a currency, a city, a company, a commodity, or a culture, right? So people think it's a risky thing. It's all about people wanting to not take risk. They don't want to guess whether Picasso's or real estate in New York or NVIDIA stock will be higher in 10 years. They want to buy money. They want to buy 1/21 millionth of all the money in the world forever.
A $13 million Bitcoin, guys. My bet is on a $1 million Bitcoin is inevitable, which is why I accumulate it every bear market and I never sell, right? Now, could you imagine if I'm undershooting and Saylor is right, even if he's only 50% right, and we have like a $6.5 million Bitcoin? Like, holy crap. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. I would take that, guys. That's why we accumulate Bitcoin. That's why we do it. Pushing legislation that would require app stores. Guys, this is why JASMY's technology is so important, guys. JASMY solves this.
Look, I imagine what's happening inside of Meta is a whole question about trade-offs. We can either lock this whole thing down, or the trade-off is going to be that we're going to allow people to have a free flow of information. But if we have a free flow of information, there's going to be some stuff that's going to get through. And the question is whether there are certain either people and or age groups, either self-identified or otherwise, that should be locked down in advance. I mean, I think that is the fundamental question, even with the trade-off being that there are going to be some users, and maybe even a large number of users, who are completely and utterly annoyed because they're going to get entrapped. They'll be trapped by the system that actually misidentifies them. So part of me wants to understand the sort of psychological, philosophical conversation that happens inside Meta about, whether I get trapped. Hopefully I'm not a predator doing anything inappropriate, but somehow I get sort of put in some kind of net for a reason that makes no sense. I would almost prefer that you put innocent people in a tougher place if you could avoid some of these horrific things from happening. And I want to understand that conversation.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation. And actually, we do find ourselves erring on the side of caution in this area. So with the launch of teen accounts, for example, we will be putting anybody who is under the age of 18 into these accounts. They have built-in protections. For those who are under 16,
right. Okay, but
hold on, this is going to answer your question. Just give me 1 second. For those who are under the age of 16, they have to get their parents' permission. as part of this work, we are going to be trying to identify teens who may be lying about their age, teens whose age, so predicting what age they are.
They have to have
People
an
are
ID
gonna,
or something that they show you, or like a school ID even?
People who we predict to be teens who may be adults are going to get trapped in that system. That is okay. We will then ask them to verify, to demonstrate that they're an adult, and we can move them back into an account.
Right.
But the idea here is that we want to use technology to predict there are going to be errors, and you will see
Currently,
that.
do you do that?
We're working on building that technology.
So that doesn't, okay.
It's complicated to build.
No, it's very, I'm not saying it's not complicated to build, but the question is, do you feel like it's fair to say you're late in building it? Meaning, this idea of identifying kids online or people who are not identifying themselves as the appropriate age seems like something that you would have thought about a long time ago. This is not a new issue. It may be hard to resolve or not so easy, but when you see that one person is friends with 30 other people who all do identify as 15 years old, all of a sudden, I actually don't think the model becomes that difficult. It becomes difficult on the edges, sure.
Well, so it is actually more difficult than you would think. And no, I don't think we're behind. This is actually a challenge for all of industry. All of industry is facing this challenge. We do already use some of this technology. We are expanding this technology. The other thing that we are doing, because it is so difficult, is we're pushing for legislation that would require the App Store or the operating system to give that information to apps like ours across the internet.
Oh,
the reason that
information
matters
on the user themselves.
Yes,
Verify it.
The reason that matters is because the App Store has this information.
Because they have a credit card.
Yeah, they know it already. We don't have to go through trying to either collect somebody's ID or ask them to provide like a facial selfie. Right. So this is,
and of course, Apple doesn't want to give you that information because they think that you're going to use that information
to then
for advertising or to use it in some other way, right?
No. They don't think you'll use that information for advertising or some other nefarious way. They know that you will do that. You will use people's personal data to financially benefit yourself. That is why JASMY's technology is so crucial and why it will be key moving forward. It fixes this problem. You can protect your data from these frickin' monsters that want to take it and profit off of it.
And that's the issue.
But there are very, very simple ways for them to give us information that would not necessarily be any more privacy intrusive. So we only need the age. We don't necessarily need the birthday, for example.
Right, but the age then allows you to turn around and tell said advertiser that they're now part of a different demographic than you might have thought.
By the way, when I
right?
signed up for my Facebook account, I told you how old I was.
Correct.
So you guys should have that information.
We have what you told us, but as a parent,
but you're not a child. A child will lie.
Teens may lie.
Parents, not parents may not lie, but the predators may lie.
But you're right. Sure. This is one of the reasons we want to do this also at the OS App Store, because that's when
I can understand the App Store saying, do your own homework. You guys created these accounts and you unleashed them. You guys figure it out.
Well, but we deliver them through the App Store, and they indicate to us that they provide safety and security, and that all apps pay a fee to be in that App Store. It is the way, and it is what makes it much simpler for parents. Parents are there. You'd literally be able to say, I don't approve download. Like, for example, you don't want your teen on social media. If you were to try to download that app, you would be in a position immediately to get a notification. Right now, you're not. And
they already have technology in cell phones for that, guys. My wife literally has an app in our daughter's phone that feeds everything that my daughter does on her phone, internet searches, text conversations, everything, directly to my wife's phone. We already have that kind of safety feature for children, okay? What Meta's trying to do here is they're trying to force the hand of the app stores to give them the KYC of everyone so that they can profit financially from people's data. They can sell people's information. They can market to sponsors for Facebook and stuff like that. That's what they're doing here, guys. Again, that is why JASMY's technology is so important, right? I cannot emphasize that enough. They think that people are stupid. All right, what else do we got? Oh, Jamie Dimon, what's he talking about today?
Bitcoin is going much lower than this. If Natalie were smart, as soon as this segment is over, she would sell all of her Bitcoin. Because if she doesn't sell it now, she's going to sell it later at a much lower price.
All right. Well,
just so you guys know, he said the same thing when Bitcoin was $15,000. He said if you were smart, you would sell it because it's going much lower. Yeah, now it's $67,000. Ooh, kind of missed the boat on that one.
what we call fighting words. And I think there's similar drivers for both. But let me introduce the two. Natalie. Natalie, meet Peter. Peter, meet Natalie. All right, Natalie, some choice words for you. What would you tell Peter?
Oh, I know, Peter. And you know what? Bitcoiners don't feel the need to constantly attack gold because we're not threatened by gold. And the reason that we have this failed fiat experiment that has impoverished our nation is because of the defects of gold. The fact that it's not easily portable, it's not easily verifiable, it doesn't offer instant final global settlement. And so you know what? Centralized authorities hijacked it, they papered over it, and we have a system of leverage and rehypothecation that hurts the working class. Bitcoin is immune to all of that. It is the savings account for billions of people that we really need and can most rely on. And it offers that final global settlement that we need. And so gold is the analog version of sound money, but Bitcoin is the digital version. And that's why it's going to be the faster horse in this race.
Peter?
There's nothing sound about Bitcoin. It's losing the race right now. Take a look at your screen. Gold is up $25, $26, and Bitcoin is getting clobbered. You know, there is no flaw in gold. Gold worked great for 5,000 years. The problem is the flaw is with governments. The flaw is with human beings, not with gold. But Bitcoin is really flawed because it doesn't have any actual value. Gold is...
Okay, but real quick, guys, if you're saying that the flaw is in humanity and in governments, not in gold itself, okay, but they're intrinsically linked because there's nothing you can do to solve the problem of the government, right, doing what they're doing when it comes to gold. So it's intrinsically linked to gold. Therefore, it's flawed in gold, right? Because you can't stop the government from doing what they're doing. Bitcoin and crypto, on the other hand, they cannot control. They cannot become intrinsically derogatory towards the asset class, right? So his argument doesn't make sense.
Is the most useful metal on the periodic table. That's why it's money. Now, it has great characteristics that make it better money than other commodities, but absent its intrinsic value, it couldn't be money. And Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. It's just a digital string of numbers. And all of this is just a bunch of hype.
Anything could be money, right?
He just said it right there, guys. He just proved he doesn't even know what Bitcoin is. It's blockchain technology. He thinks it's just a stream of numbers that doesn't do anything, right? He doesn't even understand what blockchain technology is. That's like the equivalent of someone saying that the internet back in the 90s, that the internet was just a string of numbers and it doesn't do anything.
On the island of Yap, they used to have big stone money. Anything could be money if people use it as an exchange. And this is the thing.
But that's because
But here's the thing, though. You have to admit, Bitcoin is on the rise. Wall Street has embraced it. And this is just a tiny speck. I mean, could you imagine, Peter, at the rate of recognition, if Bitcoin keeps going at this rate, it's hard to deny it could go substantially higher.
Now, I just told you it's been dropping for 2.5 years. That's when it
hit an all-time high recently.
And I think that decline is going to accelerate. It does not keep going up. They suckered in a bunch of people. Wall Street didn't.
Do you see how he picks? They pick narratives. This has been dropping for 2.5 years in a bear market, but zoom out, right? He what do you call it? He cherry picks a bear market, the bear market flow. You could do that with stocks too. You could do the exact same thing with stocks. You could look at Nvidia, for example, when it goes into a bear market and say, look, it's been falling for the last X amount of time. Well, it's because it's in a bear market, right? Narrative, details matter.
Embrace it. They're just trying to make a buck off it. I mean, these big Wall Street firms aren't buying any Bitcoin with their own money. This is their customers' money that are dumb enough to buy it. They're just booking the bets. They're operating the casino. They're not at the blackjack tables or the roulette wheels. That's their customers that are doing that.
Natalie wants to jump back in.
You know, if you look at the short term, Bitcoin is going to be volatile. But if we zoom out, Bitcoin has outperformed gold. In fact, when Hamas attacked Israel, since then, Bitcoin is up 125% and gold is up only 27%. So let's really look at the numbers that we're seeing. And the best thing about Bitcoin is, again, no one controls the ledger, whereas gold is really vulnerable to centralization and top down control, which is why we need a system that is a neutral place to store your wealth. We need a neutral system and protocol.
Don't even compare. Peter, why can't someone own both? Why can't someone have exposure to both?
Yeah, well, first of all, Bitcoin has outperformed everything. So don't compare it to gold. It's outperformed stocks, real estate, bonds, collectibles. That's because it's a gigantic bubble. No, if you want to own Bitcoin, I don't care. If you want to lose money in Bitcoin, go right ahead. Doesn't bother me. But I'm trying to help give people advice as to what to do with their money. And if they want to have an investment portfolio, Bitcoin has no part in it. But, you know, if you like gambling, if you want to take some of the money that we're going to take to the racetracks or buy lottery tickets with or go to Vegas, if you want to take some of that money and gamble on Bitcoin or any of the other 20,000 cryptocurrencies that are out there, go right ahead. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but I don't.
By the way, guys, real quick, why you have to ask yourself, why is he pressing so hard against Bitcoin? And I will tell you as a side note that while he was saying this on national television, JP Morgan was literally tripling their digital asset department. Watch what they do, not what they say.
Want to buy any Bitcoin. I mean, sure, had I bought Bitcoin years and years ago when I first learned about it, yeah, I could have made a lot of money selling it now to the greater fools, but I didn't do that.
That's something
but
he said on my show. He wishes he bought Bitcoin.
Yeah, so Natalie, bottom line though
but
is
I'm not going to buy it now. And Natalie, you're going to wish you sold Bitcoin. Mark my words.
All right.
You're going to be ruining the day.
We take all of this stuff,
If
Peter.
I'd only sold my Bitcoin, I'd have had a lot of money.
We got 30 seconds left. I got to give Natalie the last word.
I think the American dream has really been hijacked. We tried gold. It didn't work. It was papered over. That system has failed the American people. And Bitcoin does provide hope for us, the working class. We want to be able to work for something that has to be measured by a free market so that we can see real value emerge, as opposed to being captured by politics and bureaucracy, which ultimately is a system that benefits the few at the expense of everyone else. And it's a system in which the politically connected and the special interest groups really are at the top. And so we need a system that is for the people. Bitcoin is for the people.
Natalie, thank you very much. Peter, thank you very much. Liz.
Peter didn't like it because he's one of those people she's talking about, right? That's the thing. That's why he's so upset. All right, what else do we got, guys? What else do we got? All right, we got another article. We got another article to get through. I'll get to the comment section after this, guys. So rising selling pressure builds strong resistance at 68K for Bitcoin. Will BTC price meet buyers' demands? Bitcoin has started its October trend with the price rising steadily since the beginning of the month. After a challenging September, investors took advantage of October's positive sentiment to buy during price drops, which pushed the price higher. However, short-term holders have been selling near local highs, creating strong resistance around 68K, which could lead to further price pullback. Bitcoin's 11% weekly gains have some traders concerned that the market could see one more price drop before continuing to rise to new all-time highs. And I've been saying that, guys, in my live streams. I've been telling you guys, I showed you on the charts, we could see a pullback down to 64, 65K to set a new higher low. The recent increase in Bitcoin's volatility indicates that protecting against risk is becoming more costly. And borrowing money to trade is getting more expensive as volatility grows. Even traders using high leverage like 50x, who bought at the peak, haven't been forced to sell yet. With price consolidating below 68K, data from Into the Block shows that 5% of the circulating Bitcoin supply is currently at a loss, while the remaining 95% of people holding Bitcoin are in profit. This suggests that there could be selling pressure from holders who are in profit, only if they're stupid, as they may choose to cash out as the market rises. As Bitcoin struggles to stay above the 68K level, we could see increased selling pressure in the coming hours as short-term holders continue to take profits during small price surges. Realizing profits has risen over the past week, indicating that some investors are cashing out. According to Glassnode, more than $11 billion in profits have been realized in just over a week, with $5.6 billion on October 8th alone, marking the largest profit-taking day since May 28th. Interestingly, the upward push came following stronger institutional demand this week, as seen in the U.S. listed spot Bitcoin ETFs. CoinGlass data showed that these ETFs had inflows for 3 consecutive days, totaling $1.38 billion from Monday to Wednesday, with 456.90 million of that coming in on Wednesday alone. Bitcoin has strongly held above the crucial 66K resistance level as buyers gain confidence. However, sellers are also defending the immediate resistance channels around 23.6 Fibonacci, the 236 level at 68K. As of writing, BTC's price is at $67,400. Declining over 1.2% in the past 24 hours. The key support level to watch is 65K. If buyers can turn this level into support, the price could rally to 70K, though sellers are likely to strongly defend 70 to 73K. The first sign of weakness would be a break and close below 65K, which could lead to a drop to the ascending trend line at 62K. If the price bounces back from the 50-day EMA, the bulls might attempt another push to 70K. However, if the price breaks below 62K, it would indicate that the bulls have lost momentum, potentially leading to further drops to the 50-day SMA at 60,900. So right now, guys, what we want to watch, we want to make sure that Bitcoin stays above $65,000. For now, that's what we're watching. So as we zoom in here, we're well aware that we're well above that right now. We're sitting at 67.35. Hopefully we can continue to make daily closes above there, and then hopefully a weekly close above 65K would be absolutely bullish AF. So yes. All right. So let's get back over into the chat. All right, Rickaroo, my man, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Shane's in the house. What's up, buddy? Guys, make sure you smash the like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow and it means a lot. WF Capital in the house. What's up, buddy? I now got 94K CAD of exposure on my portfolio, looking for 10 to 50x. Holding ETH, ICP, JASMY, Miria, XEN, VRA, and Swift. Nice. Boomer's in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Shane, 12-cent KASPA and 1 cent 8 JASMY this morning. I couldn't help but pick more up. Nice. Not a bad idea, brother. Not a bad idea. Danny's in the house. What's up, buddy? Funky, the XRP one-day slip. I think the pump will happen after the 18th. Strange Sky, what's up, man? Good to see you. Tomatoes. I will get to warm weather soon. Let's go, JASMY people. Absolutely. William's in the house. What's up, buddy? WF Capital, got you beat. BTC. Holy crap, that's a lot of projects you're holding, brother. Nice. Nav, is big institutions trying to wait us out? Of course they are. Of course they are. Diamond Balls, I'm glad I wasn't that guy and I didn't get in early without alert. Yes, exactly. Imagine that, man. Imagine that. What do you think JASMY is worth after the bull run in the bear market? Well, I mean, it'll fall about 90%, right? So roughly, if it hits $1, well, then it would be about 10 cents, right? If it falls 90%, which most altcoins will fall between 90 to 95% at the bottom of the bear market from the peak of the last bull market, right? So that's what you would be looking at roughly. So that's why I keep saying to people, you know, people are like, well, Jasmy right now at 1 cent 896, is it too late to buy Jasmy? Well, considering the lowest you're going to be able to buy Jasmy in the bottom of the next bear market's probably going to be somewhere around 7 to 10 cents. Buying it at 1 cent 8 is not a bad idea, right? Obviously not financial advice. Jeremiah, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. John's in the house. Hey, Rob, blessings. Did not know you were Canadian. I'm from Sault Ste. Marie. Nice. I spent quite a bit of time in the Sault, man. Nice, nice, nice. Smash the likes. Yes, absolutely. The only thing not flawed is the Lord. Amen, brother. I agree. I agree. Henry, thank you for all your help. Hey, no problem, Henry. I got you, man. I got the fries that'll cross your eyes, brother. DK, yo, man, yo, big man, 700K Jasmy. Ah, nice. Congratulations on that bag, brother. I dig it. I dig it. All right, guys, so listen up. I got to get ready to head to the gym. Guys, listen, we're having some I wanted to tell you guys real quick, we're having some very, very important conversations over on the Patreon that you're going to want to be a part of, all right? Yesterday, we were talking about how to use your dry powder at this point in the cycle, how to go about planning a strategy for accumulation based on where we are in the cycle. We've been talking about the SEC's lawsuits that they're filing and the blitz on the crypto market. Onyx Coin's token unlocks we've been discussing. We've been discussing the Avalanche ecosystem and why it's so important and why the opportunity is there right now. We've been talking about Onyx staking and support levels. KASPA, Miria, and Jasmy profit taking. Guys, we're having these video call conversations. You got to get over there and be a part of them because I'm seeing a lot of these questions asked, and you could simply just join our group conversations and you can join the conversation, ask your questions, be a part of it, right? So the link is in the chat, guys. It's in the pinned comments and it's in the description. Get over to the Patreon. We will be doing another group video call today, discussing some more crucial topics in crypto. So get over there, join the conversation, be a part of it, guys, and I will see you guys later.